Blessed be, today we're talking energy vampires, which I'm sure all of you have probably met at some stage in your life, and if you haven't, then you probably will meet them because there's quite a few of them out there. And in this video, I want to talk about what they are and some of the reasons why they may be the way that they are, and what you can do about it. But before I do, hi, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn Wicca and Witchcraft, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. Energy vampires are people who are draining your energy, generally mentally or emotionally and sometimes physically. And these people may not even know they're doing it. Some do know they're doing it. Some deliberately, very few, and these are very, very few, may do it deliberately through having learned how to do it. But they're very rare. Most energy vampires are unconscious of the fact that they are draining other people's energy. But that's still no reason not to be able to defend yourself and protect yourself from these people. Because what they're doing is, a lot of the time, they're draining your emotional energy. So they're draining you emotionally, or they're draining you mentally, or they're draining you with time. So they're taking up a lot of your time. They're the type of people that it's all about them. They may be the sort of people that will guilt you or shame you into doing things for them. They may be people who don't have any consideration for your time. They may be people who are always wanting your help all of the time. They may be, if you work in a helping profession particularly, you will find them. A lot of them go to healers. You'll find that they're the clients that are going to want things for nothing. They're going to want you to do something for them for nothing, or they're going to haggle over the price with you because they don't want to contribute to the transaction. They're the sort of people that are going to really suck your energy if you are a healer. And particularly if you do any type of energy healing where you're using your energy, or even if you're channeling the energy, like with Reiki, they can still be draining on your energy. And the way they will do it is they will take up a lot of your time. They will be in your face in some ways, and you will have a sense of feeling guilt and shame when you can't do something for them, or you can't be the way that they want you to be, because they will use language and psychological tactics, something they've learned probably from their own upbringing. They may be doing it unconsciously, it's just learned behavior, or they may be consciously doing it. If they're a narcissistic person, then they're probably consciously doing it. They will be demanding, and they will say things that will trigger feelings of guilt and shame within yourself, where you feel you have to do it. You have to do something, because if you don't do something for them, or if you don't do it in the way they want you to do it, then you're a bad person. And you're not a helping person, you're not a spiritual person, because you're not helping them in some way. They will be the sort of people that will tell you all of their troubles, all of their worries. Every time you see them, there's something wrong. They've either got some really bad physical thing going on all the time, or there's a new thing going on every week. If it's not a physical ailment, that they have a lot of different physical ailments. Then there's some big catastrophe that's happened in their life. So they can be quite histrionic in that they are always having dramas in their life. So you'll find there's always this interactive drama with somebody from work, or a friend, or somebody at the supermarket, or something's going on. There's always a drama, and all of that energy, and listening to that person all of the time is actually, you find yourself being drained of their energy. They can also be incredibly manipulative by using these kinds of tactics too. So what you'll find is, when you're with a person for any length of time, if you're feeling drained afterwards, then you're giving your energy to that person. Now, sometimes when people are unwell, and they're not normally energy vampires, but maybe they're unwell and they do need extra energy, you may occasionally find that with somebody. But if it's a person where you feel this all of the time, and they're always so draining because they're either really negative people as well. So there's other people I've we had one of these at my last place where I worked. A very negative woman, like everything was down, even the voice dragged you down. It's really dragging you, really taking you down into that depths of despair and woe and how bad the world is and how awful everything is. Those kind of people, they take you down, 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 down to that place where they are vibrationally, and you will find it's a real drain of your energy. You may even feel like you need to have a sleep after you've been with them, but you need to go and have a sleep because you're just so drained. And it's like a weird drain too, a physical drain, a tired, fuzzy head type of drain that you'll experience with these people. You'll just know that, hang on, this is happening every time I'm with this person. This is how I'm feeling when I'm with this person. So do you feel good about yourself when you're with this person? Do you feel compelled and obligated, not out of compassion, but out of obligation to help that person? So where are you coming if you are helping that person? Is it coming from shame or guilt, or is it coming from the desire to help them? I mean, if it's a desire, true desire to help somebody, that should enliven you. That should give you energy. So when you do something for somebody and you really want to do it because you know that person really needs it and they aren't sucking it out of you all the time, you will feel revived by it. It will actually uplift you. So when you give to somebody and you feel uplifted, you know that that's not an energy vampire situation. They're not draining you of energy because you're feeling that in some way, even if they can't give at this point in time, that there's an interaction of giving and taking going on between you and that person. So maybe you feel their gratitude. With an energy vampire, there will never be gratitude. You'll never sense gratitude from this person. And the more you help them, the more they'll demand of you. It's like when you feed a wild animal. At first it's timid, then it comes up to you and it seems like it's grateful, and then before too long it's demanding food out of you, where it's practically trying to rip it out of your hand. Energy vampires are like that too. At first they may be seen to be grateful, they may seem to be appreciative, but then the more you give in to them, the more they'll take from you and demand from you, to the point whereas they will become very demanding, and if you don't give them what they want, they will then accuse you of being uncaring, being selfish, and being all of these things. So if you are giving to a person and you feel revived and uplifted from giving, then that's a good thing. Then that person's not an energy vampire. But if you find that this person is starting to be very draining on you, and that you're giving out of obligation and you're not giving because you're really feeling that there's a sync with the energy, that person's not really appreciating you basically. They're not really grateful for what you've done. Then you'll know that you've probably got an energy vampire there on your hands. So what do you do? What do you do with this person? It's always better to, if you can, to be able to distance yourself from that person in some way, because they're not going to change. They're going to continually be that way. They've got a lot of shadow stuff going on with them as to why they're that way. There's something missing in their lives that they need other people to fulfill. There's definitely low self-worth, low self-esteem coming from these people. So they're definitely not feeling good about themselves. And it's projected out onto other people. They feel guilt, they feel shame within themselves and about themselves. So that's why they act the way that they act. They don't understand value. They don't value themselves. Therefore, they're not going to value you, and they're not going to value any help that you try to give them or any services that you provide, because they don't have a sense of self-value. So they won't appreciate your value or the value of what you're giving either. They're coming from a place that's really not very nice. It's a very unsettling place. And unless you are in the professions of helping people like that, like you're a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counsellor, you're probably best trying to not be around that person in the first place. But if you have to be around that person, you need to protect your energy. So this means, of course, doing your daily practice, which I'm always pushing doing a daily practice. And if you don't have a daily practice and you want a really simple daily practice, I do have the ultimate guide to starting a Wiccan practice that works. It's a daily practice, so it's not the full-on Wiccan circle stuff. I do that in Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. This course, this little mini course, it's a 5-day course. It's really about getting you set up with just doing something really simple that you can do anywhere at any time, so that you're connecting to yourself, you're connecting to the earth, but you're also shielding yourself and raising your vibration so that these people aren't going to be attracted to you necessarily, and that you're going to be able to spot them. And every day you're reviving your energy, you're renewing yourself every day. You can be protecting yourself with magical shields from this person. If you're having an amulet, is a really great thing to have. So a protective amulet that protects your energy. So when that person, you're in the proximity of that person, it actually protects your energy. So it stops them from being able to drain your energy. So you can do an amulet up for yourself. Is for energy vampires particularly. That's one way to protect yourself. Your daily practice is another way to protect yourself. Not having much to do with them is the easiest way to protect yourself. And understanding that what you're feeling yourself and why you're feeling it, that's really important. It's really important that you have done your own shadow work. Because if these people are turning up a lot in your life, then they're reflecting something back at you that you need to investigate within yourself so that those people never show up again, basically. Or if they do, they're not going to really be that interested in sucking your energy, because they're going to get a vibe that, you know, this person isn't really going to do it for me. So they might try something, but your energy is going to be so much in a high vibe that they won't try it again, if that makes sense. So the more you know yourself, the more in touch with yourself you are, the more you love yourself, the more you value yourself, the less these people are going to be able to take from you, and the less you're going to need to rely on magic to help shield you all of the time. It's really, the real magic is within ourselves. And I know that that may sound a bit too sort of new agey and maybe even fluffy for some people who particularly really get into the more darker sides of the craft, but it's true. It really is our relationship with ourselves that is the real magic. And it's what really gives the joy. It isn't the spells that we do. The spells are tools. They're tools to make life easier. It's like it's easier to get from point A to point B if you've got a car and you can drive there. Magic is the car that helps you get from point A to point B. It's not something that's going to fulfill your life. A car's not going to fulfill your life. You know, there's more to life than cars. But you still, in a lot of cases, some people don't need cars. Depends where you live and what you need. But if you want to get from point A to point B, having a car can be very, very useful. Magic is simply that. It's a tool that you can use to get from point A to point B and bring things to you. When it comes to your happiness, it's your relationship with yourself. That's really important. And that's where the shadow work comes in. That's where daily practice comes in. That's where your practice comes in. And these things you can't get from a book. You can read about them to understand them intellectually, but when it comes to actually doing this stuff and really developing more self-value and self-worth, that's work you have to do outside of the book. Think about that and have a practice where you start to tune into who you are. So do take a look at the Ultimate Guide to Starting a Wiccan Practice That Works if you want a daily practice. And take a look at my shadow work videos here on YouTube if you're wanting to understand a little bit more about how you can start to love yourself and feel more worth towards yourself, because that's really where the power is. So that's the best way to protect yourself from an energy vampire. It's the hardest way because it's a lot of work to get there, but it's almost like a natural self-defense, because when you're in tune with yourself and you're in harmony with yourself, your vibe's a lot higher. So it's a lot harder for these vampires to try and come and suck your energy. But there are times when it does happen. You might be tired. You might have had a long day. You might not be well. You know, there are times when your guard might be down, and it could be because you're tired, you're not well, or you've got other stuff going on in your life that's taking up your focus and your energy. And then an emotional vampire comes along, because it's like there's a hole in the armor. It's like you've let your guard down energetically, and then you may feel that they come in. And that's where charms and amulets can be really helpful, because they can take care of the stuff that can take care of you on those days when you're just not as high vibe as you would like to be. So there's always room for magic. Find ways to be more assertive as well. If you're not a very assertive person and you find it hard to say no to somebody, or if somebody's guilting you or shaming you into something, you find it hard to know how to deal with that, then do have a look. There's so many videos on YouTube that help you with becoming more assertive, that can help you even deal with a narcissist. There's heaps of those on YouTube. And to help you understand coercion from people who may be around you. Those sorts of things are things to look at if you feel that you are in the grasps of emotional vampires. Whether you live with one, whether you have them in your family or you work with them, they're going to be there. So you need to know what you can do. Sometimes you're limited in what you can do. Fortifying yourself is sometimes the only way to deal with them. Generally, once you've done that, they'll go away. Try those things and let me know in the comments field how you go, or if you've got any questions about any of those things. If you liked the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.